Welcome back. This week we're going to go with the Dink. I did this one a while back, probably 2 years or so. I explained in that one it's one of my favorite trailer patterns to use. What I mean by that is I'll run this one, especially in the spring. I'll run it behind an articulated pattern, and I'll just take a piece of mono about the length of my arm, and then I'll run it behind the articulated and tie it on the front hook, not on the back. That way it won't inhibit that S swim that you're after. But we'll go ahead and get going on this one. The hook is going to be a size 6 from MFC. It's a 7008. It's a 4X long hook. And I'll get this out of the package here. There we go. And I thought I had one sitting next to me, but I didn't. So get that out of there. And then start, as always, with some Gel Spun 100. There we go. That looks pretty good. And then I'm going to go with this. I'm going to do this in like a brown trout color today. I'm going to have some Sunburst yellow. I really like the color on this. I use this probably more so than I do a straight yellow, especially if I'm mixing it with a brown. I just really like the way this stuff looks. So I'll take this up. And then trim that off. I'm going to find some. There we go here. I got some Flashabou over here from just a loose pack of Flashabou sitting around there from a pack the girls got into, and there was stuff everywhere. I don't know how they got into it, but Kim, she's pretty mischievous, so she can get into a little bit of everything. But yeah, there's Flashabou all over the floor, and I was able to salvage some of it, but the majority of it was just beat the hell up. So just threw it away. Hopefully she had some fun with it. Got an ass beaten, that's for sure. Didn't seem to faze her though. She's a stubborn one. Good dog though. She's a good dog. Alright, enough about the adventures of the brown dog. I'm going to take some brown Marabou and measure that out the same length, slightly longer if anything. Marabou in my mouth. That's what I get for wetting it. Alright, so now we got that. You can see I have this front section clear. There's no material there. That's going to be all laser dubbed for the head. Marabou in my eye too. That's going to be laser dubbed for the head. I'm going to have 2 stacks of it. But before we get to that, obviously, we're going to build up our body here. And the body is just going to be some copper olive UV puller. I love this stuff for bodies. I use this stuff on the majority of my flies. Actually, there is, I would say, probably, I don't know, 70% of the flies I've designed have this UV puller in one form or another. It's such a good material. Make a couple of wraps here. And it started to come to the front on me. I'm going to undo those two. I didn't like that too much, so be a little bit more careful with that wrap. There's 1, 2. Let's see if I can get another one in there just to fill that out. And I like the way that's set. So I'm going to take it about halfway up, maybe a little bit more than halfway up the shank of the hook. And that's going to be the first part of my body. Now I'm going to take, this is just some, I stumbled upon this material probably 2 years ago, and it has limited uses. I don't know, I like it as a lateral line here on this pattern. This is a cashmere goat. And get that out of the way. And then clean that up a little bit. I don't really worry too much about straightening these tips out. I like them uneven. And I'm going to run this about twice the length back. Let me get... So I'm going to take half of my Marabou. I'm going to cut my Marabou in half, and I'm going to use that as a reference. That's how much further this goat is going to go back. So I'm not going to trim this or anything. I'm just going to get a couple of good wraps in here. And then I'm going to trim this off after the fact. Because I'm not really too worried about it building bulk or anything like that. It's not going to build a ton to where you need to cut it at an angle and you have to be really mindful of how much bulk is right there, because you'll see with the next material that we put on, it's going to cover that. Any bulk that you build by tying this in, it's going to cover it up. Alright, so now I'm just going to mirror the one that I just tied in. Get that about to the same length. There we go. And then get that tied in as well. Go ahead and cut that, get it out of the way. Can make just a couple of wraps here on this just to clean that up a little bit if you want. And now I'm going to go with a black marker here. I'm just going to put some Parr marks on this and just run these lines right down that goat. There we go, and then the same thing on the other side. There we go. We have some nice Parr marks on both sides. Get that marker out of the way. And now we're going to tie in. This is just some, this is a synthetic fox brush. Show the package here. We'll get that in there. It's wire free. It's a little bit bulky to tie in. So when you're doing this, make sure that you strip all of this stuff back and you're just tying in the cotton right there. So you take that in, just get it tied and secured. And this is an orange. It stands out a little bit. I like the way that it looks though, honestly, when I couple it with the laser dub that I'm going to use here. And just 2 quick wraps, and you can see how those fibers kind of go back go back the body a little bit. I don't know, pretty neat material to work with, pretty neat when you cut your thread too. So, wasn't being careful there. I'll see if I can salvage that. If not, I'll just tie another piece in. It's been happening a lot here lately. It's probably the 2nd time in a month on these videos I've had that happen. So there's 1, 2, and I think I'm going to be able to salvage that just barely. Just barely. Don't cut your wire this time. There we go. Just added a little bit of extra time to the video. Alright, so I want to clean this up with my thread a little bit. Just to get rid of that bump slightly. And I'm going to call that good. Get that stuff out of the way. Now I'm going to bring in the mix that I use for the head on this one. This is Senyo's Fusion Dub. You've seen me work this with this material in the past. It's got the Fusion Dub has just all sorts of different colors mixed to it. It's not like a solid color like the laser dub. About the same consistency as the laser dub. It just has like I said, multiple colors mixed in. This one's called Eat a Peach. When you cut that with the yellow, it gives a really nice match to the Sunburst yellow, and then it's a little bit of a transition with that orange as well. I got material flying in my eyes here. So I'm going to go probably 50-50 on this, maybe a little heavier on the yellow, and I'm just going to blend this myself. I'm just going to take this and work it through here. I don't know, maybe a dozen times or so, just until I feel that I got the color that I want on this. Probably a little too heavy on that yellow, but no, that looks like it's going to be pretty good. That's going to be pretty good. Alright, I'm going to set that off to the side. I'm going to start with the brown on the top. I don't want a ton of this, just enough to where I'm able to make a good solid head, or get a good profile, I should say. So I'm going to take that section and my thread moved on me a little bit there. Like I was saying, I want to take that section and throw it right behind that fox brush. Go ahead and pull down tight on that. Just clean that up slightly. I don't know if I'm happy with how that's setting. Yeah, that'll work. That'll work. Nope, it won't. I'm not happy with it. What's happening here is it's starting to slide right down that little gap that I have there, and it won't let me get a good secure wrap, so I'm going to have to go as close as I can here. There we go. There's a little transition right there that I had with my thread that wouldn't allow that wouldn't allow me to pull tight on this. So now we're going to go with this yellow blend here for the bottom. Like I said, I may have gotten a little heavy on the yellow, but that's all right. It looks good. It looks good. Same thing with that. Get that one secured into place. Looks good there. Now I'm going to take one more stack of brown. I'm going to have 2 stacks on this, just like the rainbow riffle. I'm going to get this tied in here, set that right on the top. And then same with the yellow. Right on the bottom. Get that secure and whip finish. And then I'm going to clean this up slightly if I can find my brush over here. There we go. I'm just going to clean these up. And then trim this. Just get a little trim out of that. Same thing on the bottom. There we go. Now the last thing that we're going to do on this one is take some eyes. These are just MFC 3D eyes. They're going to be a yellow and black. So I'm just going to find my gel here. Put my hat back on straight there. I'm going to find my gel. Throw a drop right on my thread in between the 2 stacks of laser dub, and I'm going to set my eye right in there. Press that down on the top. Same thing on the other side. I'm going to set my eye in place. Just press that in with the scissors, and then you can move around and get your eyes in place how you want them, and then just press them in. Make sure that your fingers aren't sticking to it. Just a couple of seconds of a squeeze on there, and then you're done. The last thing is just to touch up this thread here. Just grab your marker, throw it over touch up your white a little bit, and you are good to go. Once this gets wet, that goat just kind of gives a secondary tail back here. There's a little kick to it, and those Parr marks give a nice little effect on the fly as well. Like I said, this is one of my favorite trailer patterns. I use this one a decent amount in the spring, along with the Blonde series, and every once in a while an HT. I like to fish the HT by itself a lot. You can fish this one by itself as well, but I like this one more so, like I said, as a trailer. That's typically when I use it the most. But as always, if you guys have questions or comments, leave them with me and I'll get back to you. But thanks as always for watching, and we'll catch you next Wednesday.